Big John, Big Bad John.
WENO Radio at the time was the only radio station playing only country music in the country music capital of the world. My instructor, Thurston Springer, known on the radio as Country Cuz, was working weekends at Weno, and he had gotten me a job there running the control board when the other personalities were broadcasting live from remote locations. In addition to switching back and forth and playing all the commercials, it included reading the news.
And remember that free gift for every youngster in the family, a handsome book satchel, absolutely free. That's the Park Plaza Pancake Palace, 920 Murfreesboro Road.
Time now for the 5:30 news headlines. First of all, the Defense Department is calling up more than 76,000 reservists. East German police fired tear gas bombs into a crowd of West Berliners on the border today. The president of Brazil has resigned from office, saying he has been frustrated in his efforts to run the government. And the final item, President Kennedy is spending the weekend at Cape Cod. Turning now to the weather. Weather forecast for Nashville and Middle Tennessee. Mostly cloudy and mild with scattered areas of rain and a few thunder showers this afternoon. And high this afternoon, 75 to 83. Low tonight, 62 to 70. High scheduled for Saturday, 78 to 85. The weather outlook for Sunday calls for little change. Present temperature on the Everwatch for Weno weather chart now stands at 83 degrees. Humidity 58%. Barometric pressure 29.33 and steady. The winds are the west-northwest at 5 miles per hour. The sky is partly cloudy. Visibility 15 miles. That's the news and weather together from Weno's Universal Newsroom.
They're in the bag. What's in the bag? Delicious golden Sunbeam buns. Buy Sunbeam buns. They keep fresh longer.
Sunbeam, the favorite. Buy fresh Sunbeam buns.
This is Greater Nashville's fastest growing station. This is Weno, WENO 1430 on your radio, with studios and transmitters on the beautiful Weno Ranch in suburban Madison, Tennessee. On we go with the Happy Time Show. Here's Don.
Hi, and welcome back now to the Fender Bender from B.F. Myers & Son Furniture and Appliance Company here in Goodlettsville, Tennessee. Here's Jimmy Newman and Big Mamu. And follow the signs. We'll be right back after the news and weather together from Weno.
10 fabulous prizes the whole family will enjoy. Win a Chevrolet Corvair in the big RC Family Fun Contest. Enter the RC Family Fun Contest today.
You're in tune with Greater Nashville's fastest growing station. This is Weno, WENO 1430 on your radio. Studios and transmitters on the beautiful Weno Ranch in Madison, Tennessee. Time now for the 1:30 news headlines. First of all, a bulletin. Roger Maris has hit his 49th home run of the season against the Cleveland Indians. Maris connected for his homer in the third inning after teammate Mickey Mantle hit number 46 in the first inning. Elsewhere around the world across the nation, Vice President Johnson was waiting in West Berlin today as 1,500 American troops moved into the communist ring city. The U.S. reinforcements made their way through East Germany into West Berlin without an incident. President Kennedy is at his summer home in Ionasport, Massachusetts, after being kept informed throughout the night on the progress of the U.S. troops bound for Berlin. Mr. Kennedy returns to Washington Tuesday. And a final item, Secretary of Commerce Luther Hodges says the Berlin crisis has nearly eliminated all chances for any cut in federal taxes. Turning now to the weather. The weather forecast for Nashville and Middle Tennessee. Partly cloudy and continued warm today with only a chance of afternoon and evening thunder showers. High scheduled for today, 84 to 92. Fair and cool tonight. The low temperatures 56 to 62. And the weather outlook for Monday, sunny. Present temperature on the Everwatch for Weno weather chart now stands at 79 degrees. Humidity 74%. Barometric pressure 29.35 and falling. The winds are out the northwest at 13 miles per hour. The sky's cloudy. Visibility 10 miles. That's the news and weather together from Weno's Universal Newsroom. You're in tune with Greater Nashville's fastest growing station. This is Weno, WENO 1430 on your radio dial, with studios and transmitters on the beautiful Weno Ranch in suburban Madison, Tennessee. On we go now with the weekend show. Here's Country Cuz.
All right, we're going to ping-pong it right over there to Brook Mountain. All of it coming your way from Pleasant Hills this afternoon. We'll be telling you all about it as we go. Good evening. It just got there. Let me tell you a story about a bold wheel.
I'm a traveling man, made a lot of stops all over the world.
Weno Radio was a real learning experience, mostly about having a sense of humor. There are just some experiences that get stamped in your brain. Embarrassment is one of those experiences. It just so happened when I was working part-time at Weno that there was a major Tennessee state prison riot. Being young and part-time, I thought this might be my big chance to establish my credibility in the news area. So I drove to the prison. I had no difficulty mingling with all the reporters present. I mostly stayed by the payphones, listening to all the reporters call in with their stories. After 5 or 6 reporters phoned in with their feeds, it would be my turn, and I just cloned the best parts from each report I'd heard. It worked really well. My confidence level grew with each report I filed. I was going live and it was great. After 4 or 5 reports, I was the man on scene, and I had asked that each of my phone reports be recorded. Well, the riot finally ended. I had been there for 8 hours. I was tired, but I wanted a strong, dramatic close. So at the end of my last report, I signed off with, "And so, it's over. The coffee and sandwich machines are empty, and it's over." There was a slight pause, and then I heard a voice coming back down the telephone line. It said, "Well, Jim, I'm sure if you wait around, they'll fill them shortly." I think the moral of the story is to be very careful with the dramatics, because you just might run across a person with a sense of humor. And speaking of a sense of humor, there was one other moment of embarrassment at Weno. My main job was to run the mixer board when they were doing remote broadcasts, which they did a lot of. From time to time, I would have to record commercials on the B channel of the board when they were playing records from the remote van. Well, it just so happened that they brought me this copy to record as soon as I could. And the copy was long, way too many words, but it would be a big hassle for them to redo it, so I would just have to go as fast as I could. The client was Shoe City. Well, I hit the remote control button to put the Ampex tape machine into the record mode. It was rack-mounted in the meter room in the hallway outside. I looked to make sure it was rolling. I flipped the mic key on and I was supposed to say, "Shoe City Shoes." But it didn't come out that way. In a moment, I knew it was a bust, so I stopped. I went to turn the mic key off, but when I touched it, I realized it was in the A for air position, not the B position it was supposed to be in. And that's when I froze. The chief engineer happened to be in the meter room at the time and heard it. Meanwhile, a red heat was rising through my body towards my face. The chief had to come in and turn my mic off. He left the control room shaking his head. I think the moral to this story is, you have to keep a sense of humor. All I can say about this next segment is sometimes reverb and echo effects can lead one, shall we say, astray. The effect becomes bigger than life. You become the superstar. Listen to the effect of the effect.
Time now for the latest news. Johannesburg, Massachusetts. President Kennedy says he will ask Congress for power to build up U.S. military might over a long-range period. Grand Rapids, Michigan. Republican National Chairman William Miller says President Kennedy has mishandled U.S. foreign policy. Miller, a performance as interrupt. Here are the headlines. Astronaut, Grissom, France, former, Cape Canaveral, Space writer Virgil Grissom says seeing the hatch cover fly off his capsule yesterday was his biggest surprise of the day. The Cuban Minister of Transport issued an order to an American to confine its Cuban activities to its regularly scheduled flights of 2 days, 2 flights a day. An extra flight was en route to Cuba when the order was issued and was diverted back to Miami via radio. This is If anyone should ask, this is WENO, Weno Radio, 1430 on your radio dial. This is a microphone here. Well, here we are, in the middle of the jungle. God forbid, look at the monsters all around. Please, don't touch me. Please. Oh, God. No, God. This is my last will and testament. If you want me to tell you a story, it's now or never. My soul won't wait. When I first kissed you, with your heart so tender, my love was right, and I surrender. I've tried a lifetime, looking for the right time, but who knows when we'll meet again, my friend. It's now or never. Come home, Ethan. Kiss me, my darling. My love won't burn. Tomorrow will be too late. It's now or never. My love won't wait. It's now or never. My love won't wait. I'm just a little boy. I'm from the Ozarks, man. I'm from the Ozarks. Yes, I'm old Grandpa Willie back here in the old jungle. You know, many years ago, I was working on the railroad. Yes, I was one of the ties. I was one of the biggest ties in the world. And then, well, since they kicked me out, they said, they said I was too old to work on the railroad anymore. Do you know what happens when a person becomes too old to work on the railroad? Well, I don't know. What happens when someone becomes too old to work on the railroad? Well, I'll tell you. When you become too old to work on the railroad, they ship you out south. And they say, dig that ditch. I didn't know. Tell me more about it, sir. Well, there's not much left to tell. I'm getting pretty old for my age. Just how old are you? Oh, well, I'm between 89 and 95. Between 89 and 95, huh? Yeah, that's right, between 85 and 92. I think you're changing your age. I'm not neither, I'm just an old man. You look old.